One thing I'm really being intentional about and like sticking with in the year of 2026 is taking care of myself and taking care of my peace. And I'm not sacrificing my happiness anymore. I'm not sacrificing my joy anymore. And if that means pissing people off and setting boundaries, then it is what it is. And I know for a fact that people are talking ill about me. But when you are so like at peace and just comfortable with yourself, you don't care that people are talking ill about you, and you don't care when people tell you that other people are talking ill about you. And it feels really good to be in a place in life where I simply don't care. And I'm glad that you have the energy to run your mouth. Welcome to the Simply Jamilah podcast. If all goes well and this audio is great, then hi, my name is Jamilah and I'm happy to be recording again. I definitely said that I was back in February, but I realized that after several tries and re-recording the same episode so many times that something is wrong with my computer. It just was not properly recording the audio. So I got a little adapter thing instead of buying a whole new computer, which I definitely need to do. But instead of doing that at the moment, I got a little adapter thing, and now we have an iPad that we're using. I've been had my iPad, but like now I'm using my iPad to record. You got to do what you got to do when you have a passion that you love and that helps you. And honestly, I hate that February was the month when my computer stopped working and I couldn't really record this podcast because I definitely needed it as I went through February. But it's okay because I'm just going to sit here and we're going to kind of catch up and just talk about like some major realizations that I've had. And all the content that I have planned for February was definitely Black history related. But fun fact, Black people are Black 24/7, 365, and during leap years, 366. So I can talk about being Black and the beauty of it all anytime that I want. So I'm not too torn up about it not happening in February. Sticking with the program, I do have some good news that I want to share despite all of the things. I mean, America is so hated right now that it's like almost, it's not even funny, but it's like almost funny. And it's just so freaking bad. And it just keeps getting worse. And then besides whatever is not happening in the government, because that's really all it is that there's nothing happening in the government that actually makes sense. When you kind of just you can't look past it. But if you think about just other bad things, like, I don't know about you guys, but in my opinion, so many people have like passed away this year. Like, yes, celebrity wise, especially like voice animators and voice actors. Has anybody noticed that? I said voice animators. I meant just like animators in general, and then like voice actors. A lot of them have passed away this year. Eric Dane, Catherine O'Hara, Jesse Jackson. I mean, just like so many people. And then my personal life, I mean, the end of February and the beginning of March was just hit after hit after hit after hit. And it's been intense. So there's just been a lot. And I think we all need just some good news, even if it doesn't affect us. And even if it's old news that you've already heard before, I think we all just need some good news right now. Okay, I definitely need to take my hair down because it was up for the younger children. So I wasn't hitting them in the face while I was doing their homework with them. But now she's just a little too heavy in the back. Okay, the first piece of good news, and I definitely should have written down names. When it comes to me sharing good news, it's more of like headlines, and then I read the article, and then I forget what I read in the article, and then I kind of just stick with the headline. So the first piece of good news, and like I said, I should have written down names, is that Miss America, for the first time ever, Miss America, Miss USA, and Miss Teen USA are all Black women, all in the same year. I mean, it's Women's History Month. Again, last month was Black History Month. This just feels like a win, and it is a win, and it's amazing, and love it. Happy to be here. Next piece of good news, speaking of making history and just loving being Black, Ryan Coogler makes history as the first Black winner of the BAFTA for Best Original Screenplay, and it was such a big deal. I remember watching clips of one of the supporting actresses from Sinners, who I was gonna say who is pregnant, but actually now that I think about it, they're both pregnant. Anyway, I remember watching her just like reaction because she was like praising Ryan Coogler, and then he won, and then she got even excited and praised him even more. And it's just a very big win, and I'm so happy for what Ryan Coogler is doing for Black people and Black stories. I absolutely love it. I saw somewhere, it was like an article, and I hate that we're like at a point where it's like what's real and what's not, but I saw somewhere that said Ryan Coogler would be down to write like a rom-com, and I would eat that up. I would eat that up. I actually kind of need that to happen ASAP. And then the last piece of good news, it's international good news. And if you were to like hold me hostage and ask me to tell you details about this, I would probably just be stuck. I definitely read about it, but I cannot. There was so much like legal jargon that I actually don't understand. But I'm going to basically give you the headline. The Supreme Court of India, so the souls, their Supreme Court, they're great, smart people. They ordered free menstrual products in schools across the country, which is such a big win for women's menstrual health. And it works wonders, and it does wonders for just the girls. It continues to give them the opportunity to receive an education without hindrance, which I think is absolutely beautiful. And I love that at the school that I work at, there is a couple of places throughout the building, trusted people that the girls can go to get menstrual products if they don't have any. And I don't want to say I'm proud of myself, but I do like that I am one of those people. Now, I do need a restock, but that's a whole separate thing. I'm excited for this episode. It's going to do a lot for me, and I think it's going to get a lot off my chest in a way that needs to be taken off. I think I haven't been angry, but I've been around someone who is angry, and I just kind of have like chilled through it. And I think I need to just kind of like process why I've been so chill. Okay. But I want to start off by saying this and I wrote this down because it was one of the just like most insane parallels, I guess you could say, between me and several other people in my life. But I do find it interesting that multiple people in my life are experiencing what I'm experiencing, which is not receiving credit from someone who is doing whatever they can in their power to make the person they're taking credit and ideas from look bad. And I don't know, like I would like to know what is in the air for this to be happening, not just to me, but to like multiple people in my life. And I genuinely believe, when I was like really thinking about this, I believe that people are in your life for a specific phase or purpose, but they might not be there forever. However, everyone kind of like showing themselves like truly at the same time in different perspectives and different ways in different people's lives is just kind of insane. Like this happening to multiple people I know at the same time in different ways is wild to me. Whether it's like romantically, whether it's like with family, whether it's okay. Whether it's a work relationship, what's happening and what's going on is just spreading just as quickly as the flu, in my opinion. Like it's insane that so many people are experiencing this. It's like wild to me. And it's interesting how like I'm experiencing it work-wise for sure. And then I know people experiencing it like with romantic relationships that may have ended, or romantic relationships that are just kind of like, we're gonna side eye really, really hard. And then it's happening with like people within their families. Like it's just kind of crazy that in a different way, the same, like, I guess, energy of just, I'm gonna do whatever I can to make somebody else look bad is showing up. It is wild to me. And for me personally, I think the reason that I am so calm with this happening is because I know myself, and it feels, I almost got teary-eyed there, because it feels so good to know myself. I think for a very long time I hated myself. I didn't like who I was becoming. I had no like real confidence in myself, and I just wasn't a fan. And I let a lot of the negativity that I heard and the words that I heard as a child kind of convinced me that I was a bad person. I don't remember if I've said this before, but I might have. But I mean, my mom married a man who literally straight up told me while I was hanging clothes up in my closet, it was the most random time in my life, but while I was hanging clothes up in my closet, he told me that I had like a demon in me. So I was just like, and that's just one example. And of the things that I was hearing that kind of really convinced me that I am a bad person. But I think I just have really, really worked on myself. And like I said, big year of just protecting my peace and being comfortable with myself. And so I think people trying to make me look bad, throw me under the bus, make me seem like the villain in their story. Like, congratulations. If you need a villain, I mean, whatever, it's fine, but it doesn't necessarily affect me. And I'm not angry about it. Like, I'm vibing, I'm chilling. And I think now that I'm saying it out loud, and this is why I'm so happy to be back recording, it's because I know that I'm a good person. Like, I mess up. There are so many people in the world who don't like me or who hate me or who think I'm mean. And it's fine because there's also so many people who acknowledge and recognize and realize and know that I am a good person. And I focus all my energy on the fact that I am a good person, that I try to be as kind as I possibly can. And I do care about people and I want to be as helpful as I possibly can. I want to make things easier if I can, if I have the resources to, if I have the brain power to, which I think is part of why I like my job. Or at least I liked the job that I was able to do before things really hit the fan. And now I just sit in a corner and do nothing, basically. But then when I get out of my corner to go actually do something, it's a problem because I don't say where I'm going when I leave the corner. So then I have to go back in the corner just to sit and do more of nothing. Let that math add up to you. Make that math make sense. With this thing that I'm experiencing and multiple people are experiencing, I've really just had time to sit back. I mean, like I said, I sit in a corner now, although I've been doing everything that I really can to get out of the corner. I've given the ACT like so many times, like 3 times maybe. And then when the ACT was being given by someone else, I like watched kids who were testing. Like, I have just been so locked in on, I don't know, finding a way to kind of escape a physical environment so I can, I don't know, do something. I don't know. But even then, when I'm like in that corner, I'm still doing stuff and I'm still so at peace. Like, no matter what, I'm chilling. I'm at peace. And like I said, it's really knowing that I'm a good person. And I'm so happy that I had this realization as I'm recording, because that's growth. That is big growth for me. And to be entering or to be living, because technically I'm living my 27th year of life, to be living this 27th year and to have that, God, it's so exciting. Getting wiser as you get older and just really figuring out who you are is amazing. I love it. I'm happy to be here. I absolutely love it. So if you've never listened to my podcast before, I am supposed to be an assistant in a library, and that's all I'm going to say on that. And I work at a high school. And as the semester comes to an end, there's been a lot of reflection. You know, you got to kind of fill out your intentionality for the next school year. Like, there's a lot of things going on at this moment as far as like future steps in the career. With thinking about like intentions for the future, I've thought about the 2 things that have come from me working at the high school I currently work at, which, considering I've been there for 2 years, technically, I believe, it's cool that 2 things have come from that. So the first thing that's come from working at this particular high school is a love for librarianship and being a resource to people. Like I said, if I can be kind and show people that I care about them, like, genuinely, and I want the best for them and I want to make things easier for them, then absolutely. And I have, not to sound super nerdy, but librarianship has everything I love in it. Everything I love. Yeah, that was English. Everything I love in it and more. It allows creativity. It allows, there's logistics to it. There's budgeting, which is math, and I love math. There's books. Of course, there's books. There's talking about books. There's, I mean, you know, there's so much just with books alone, but it goes beyond that. It's playing and figuring out new technology, which for me in my head is like a puzzle, and I love puzzles. It's showing up for staff and students who need someone to show up for them, who feel neglected and need help. And I can definitely say that is the case with the school that I work at. A lot of people have felt neglected by other people. And that's all I'm going to say on that. But to be able to show up and help out, I mean, I love it. And I love librarianship. It just has everything that I like, and it has everything that I know that I'm good at combined. And it's fantastic. And I could go on and on about it. Honestly, I might do a whole episode dedicated to like working in a library and be super boring. I might do that, but I might wait until like I graduate, because there's so many concentrations when you study librarianship. And right now I'm obviously studying school librarianship, but I mean, my friend is studying like archives, which I think is so cool and interesting. And like, you can work in a research library. Like, there's just so much to it that I think is so cool. And I geek out about it. But I think my favorite thing about it is just being able to be a resource. So I'm so happy that working at the school that I work at now, I have discovered my love, and I've discovered my career and what I really want to do. And I do still have like a slight dream of it somehow becoming like not a part-time job, but like it becoming a side gig, like a second source of income. But right now it is my primary source of income. And I'm grateful for librarianship. And I'm so happy that I can just like talk to kids and like influence their minds through literature in like a really great way. Like, I don't know, I just love it. I work at a high school, but even then, like a couple of days a week, I help out with like younger children, and they have like reading logs, and like doing their reading logs with them and just reading little books, animating my voice, screaming whenever there's an exclamation point. Like, it's just so fun for me, and it fills my heart up. It really does fill my heart up, despite everything environment wise or whatever the case may be that's being claimed that is happening currently where I work. Overall, I still have a lot of love and a lot of joy for the profession. I just got to do it somewhere else. Which brings up the second thing I've learned, or the second thing that's come from working at my current high school: a hatred for being micromanaged and controlled. How did I mess up twice with this? Because control showed up last year-ish in a friendship that's both started and ended while I worked at the school. But then I messed up again. And like, it's so crazy, bro. Like, how did I mess up twice? Because then control and micromanaging showed up along with double standards, hypocrisy, and confrontation via emails. All of that showed up in a work relationship. How did I mess up twice? How did I mess up twice? And like, because I've messed up with that, I am limited on being able to help people. I think today was the first time in like a week that I have been able to like go and help someone. And even then, I couldn't solve the problem. I really don't know what was going on with the network, but it's okay. It's fine. Going up with the network, I meant going on with the network. And it's okay. It worked out. Everything's fine. And there's definitely like a lot of lore when it comes to like control and micromanaging and like the work relationship, but I don't think it's like best to get into that. But I definitely just, I cannot be controlled. And that's that on that is that on that. What really opened my eyes to the fact that I was being controlled, even though I was doing way too much. And now I do nothing, which is a whole separate, like, it comes down to like communication. But at the same time, if my job is meant to support and assist, how am I going to support and assist when nothing is being communicated to me as far as what I need to support and assist on or with? Do you see what I mean? Like, can you make that math make sense? We're trying to make math make sense, and some of it just simply isn't. Okay. But what really like opened my eyes and kind of made me throw in the towel and say enough is enough. I'm going to set boundaries, which again has resulted in me not really doing anything, but I mean, again, still have a love for the profession, but I literally just like, I work on my schoolwork. Like, how am I supposed to know what to do if I'm not being told what to do? You know what I mean? Drawing the line. My classwork for my master's showed me what kind of like regime I was working in or am working in. But I'm in a class that's about like, I couldn't tell you the full title because the titles are long, but it's basically library management. And you spend the first part of the class really going over like how to manage the library and like leadership and like skills that you need to possess that are beyond like writing and reading and and being able to work in specific software, like what qualities as a human do you possess to manage a library? And when I like started studying that, the rare moments that I actually like fully read, I was like, wait a minute, pause, cut the cameras, hold on. I'm not I'm not seeing this example where I work. It really like opened my, and I was like, wait, this is an example. This is who and how I should be and how I should operate. And these are some of the skills that I need to possess to be a leader, but I'm not seeing that. And that really opened my eyes to I need to be a better person than what I am consistently around for 35 hours a week, really. And it just, my mind was like, oh my gosh. So when I started studying for this specific class and realizing the like skills that were needed to run the library and like manage it beyond, again, knowing specific things and softwares and stuff, I was like, oh, this is not okay. I'm very big on, I just want to be surrounded by good people. So, and when I read my work, I was like, oh no. Oh no, because I don't know if you've heard the saying, you become like the 5 people you spend the most time around. I want to be the best version of myself, and to be the best version of myself, I need to be around the best people. I mean, and there's a difference when in a working relationship, there is a difference between collaboration and control. And that is something that I discovered over like the month of February and just even the past couple of weeks of like things and meetings and random crap that's happened. It's like, wait, like, no, that was not collaborating at all. That was like full send, like, and it's just like progressively gotten worse. And it's gotten worse to the point where I broke. I did. And what's wild to me is that some people are like, oh my goodness, like I never saw this coming. And I'm like, I need you to pay a little bit more attention. Okay. Because I've talked about it on here. I've definitely talked about it like, I don't want to say in real life because it is real life, but I've talked about it like outside of the podcast. I can't tell you how many times I've said the words, I like my job, but not the environment that I work in. Like, it's been a known thing everywhere. But I think, and sometimes you just get tired and you get burnt out on trying to keep the peace within yourself by pretending to be something that you're just not, and by pretending to be okay with things that are just not okay. And I got tired of that. Like, I really just was like, no, this is not cool. This is not okay. This is bias. And we're supposed to eliminate bias in libraries, which is like, that's like something I learned. And, it just makes sense now that I've like read it. I'm like, wait. And there's just so much stuff that I've like, after I've read it, I'm like, wait, this doesn't happen, but it makes sense for it to happen. And so I'm just not controllable. And I refuse to be controlled. And I set boundaries, and I am just so proud of myself for doing that. Someone texted me and it made me so happy because I did share it on Instagram. Too many people were trying to talk to me about something that I gave up because it wasn't in my job description, because again, setting boundaries. And I put on Instagram that I was setting boundaries, and someone texted me that they were proud of me for it. And that text made me feel really good in the sense that someone's proud of me. Someone besides myself and Clover are proud of me. But then B, it made me feel really good because it's like, you were paying attention. You saw and you heard what I was dealing with. And so it was very validating. Like, wait, someone else like witnessed it and was not blind to it. It was so nice. Like, that text, waking up to it was just it made my day. It made my day. Sometimes you just need to know that you are not alone in what you are experiencing. And it's nice to know that someone's witnessed it. Like, you're not crazy for thinking this or for drawing the line and setting boundaries. Like, it just really made me happy. Like, I just felt so validated. I think something else that totally made me break in terms of just like pretending for the sake of keeping the peace, and keeping the peace for everyone. And how do I explain this? Like, I've always been told growing up, especially in church, that you shouldn't be selfish, and I was the oldest sibling, so I was definitely told all the time, that's selfish, share, blah, 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 blah. And now that I am 26, about to be 27, which I'm actually so excited about turning 27. Oh my goodness. Like, what? I'm so excited. Now that I'm at this point in life, I care about people. I love people to the best of my ability. But like, I need to be selfish. Like, I absolutely need to be selfish. I think it's okay to be selfish when it comes to taking care of yourself. And so what I was doing, or what I had been doing for the past year, is pretending for the sake of protecting everyone else's peace. But no, we're done. I was sacrificing my peace for you. No, ma'am, we're done. So I decided to be selfish, and now I protect my peace. And God, I love it. I really love it. And in me really figuring out like the burnout that I was experiencing from pretending, I learned in February, when it all kind of just like came to a head, that I spent my entire childhood being controlled by a parent and a parent's spouse, because that's all he genuinely is to me, is a parent's spouse. And I find like I was very irritated in the friendship that I had because I was controlled, or being controlled. And then it's like, wait, I that friendship's no longer a thing. And then it's like I subjected myself to it again at my job. What? And then I tried to power through and make it better by doing things outside of work with the same group of people, hoping that it would make it better and make me feel like, okay, maybe I'm just imagining it. And I spent all of last year trying that, and it just was not working. It wasn't working. And I gave up. And I'm happy that I gave up. I'm happy that I stopped trying to like protect someone else's peace. Like, I'm proud of myself for it. And I know to a lot of people who didn't really understand, they're like, oh my goodness, this is such a shock, da, 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 da. But it's not a shock when you're doing everything you can for the sake of someone else. However, you have to be selfish sometimes, and I'm choosing it because, as I said, I spent my entire childhood controlled by a parent and their spouse. Why on earth would I subject myself to more control? Why would I do that to myself? And when that thought, we had a week off of school from the snow, and when I thought about that, I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah. What am I doing? Like, it was the light bulb awakening, seeing the light moment that I absolutely needed to have. And I'm proud of myself for having it. And then for a second there, I don't want to say unintentionally, but I just kind of started beating myself up again, because I was like, wait, is this like an eldest daughter thing? Is this you just wanting independence? Like, what is this, a very stereotypical thing? And then I had to kind of talk myself down and be like, no, because you can be independent and still allow someone else to take control over you. And I don't know how to explain that in a way where it makes sense, but I've seen it in the form of a romantic relationship where isolation was present. And I don't know how to explain it, but when you're in that kind of relationship, you're isolated from everyone, so you think you have your independence, but at the same time, you are pulled into isolation by someone who was controlling you. And I'm not near experiencing that or whatever. It's just something that I've like witnessed. And I really thought about this. I was like, no, like yes, I'm an independent person and I am chilling, I'm vibing, but I also like the fact that I'm not really like, I don't want to say I'm not fully independent, because I definitely am, but it's more of, if I need to call on someone, I have people to call on. Now, some of them don't answer their phone, but that's a separate thing. That's a separate thing. But if I really need to like make a phone call and need someone to be there, whether it is just hearing their voice or FaceTiming them or being like, hey, I need to come to your house for like 20 minutes, then cool, like great. I'm happy that I am able to do that. So I can be independent, but I can also, I don't know, be around people and depend on people at the same time. I don't know if that even makes sense. But one thing I do know is that you you're not going to control me. And this is not me rebelling, because I think that's definitely a thought process that someone in my family had when I was in college and I decided to, I don't know, be my own person. Like there was the whole, you're being rebellious and like, no, I'm not. I'm independent, and you're not going to control me with your Bible verses and your letters and your harsh language. Like, you're not going to. I can't be controlled. Ah, I don't know what. I'm not going to say I'm sorry, because I'm not sorry. I'm happy that I am within my right mind enough to know who I am, to know what I like, to know what makes me comfortable, to know what I love and what aids in helping me continue to love myself, what aids in helping me continue to be and become a better person, like to be a good person and become better at being a good person. Like, I'm good. And I really like, I was talking to my friend the other night about how things are just like, our lives are good. We're just doing our normal thing, but we're in such a good place in our lives that it just, there's a joy there. There's no like, this is boring and mundane and this sucks. It's like, no, like there's always something happening, but it's just our everyday lives and we're good with it. And there's like joy in it. There's joy in the monotony of it all. And I love it. I'm happy with it. And so I'm going to continue to protect my joy and my peace by not allowing someone to control and, in the case of a work relationship, micromanage me. Like, it's not going to happen. And I come from a family where it's always been about, like, cool, but you need to have a job that, like, where you make money, da 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 da. And I've always been like, no, I want a job that I'm going to be happy at. And I still, again, love my job and I'm happy with the career path that I've chosen. So I'm going to stick it out and keep going with it. And I can still work and be happy and joyous in a career and protect my peace. And yeah, days are going to be hard. Like, it is what it is. Even after, like, I get through whatever this weird rough patch thing is, once I make it to June, cool. There's always a problem. There's always a problem. It's still Verizon, guys. It's still freaking Verizon. There's always something, but I feel like as long as there is not anger, hostility, animosity, and then you just feel good about where you are in life and just like your overall peace, like when that is the big thing or the overall emotion and just kind of the thought process, and I think we're doing great. Do you know what I mean? And so I cannot be controlled, and I refuse to subject myself to staying in a building where someone is going to continue to try to control me. So do with that information what you will, specifically that last sentence, but I simply refuse. I'm not meant to be controlled. I'm meant to collaborate and fully collaborate. There is a difference between let's talk about it and I'm going to like halfway listen and halfway pay attention and then be super confused and try to like take control over everything later down the line when things actually happen because I wasn't paying attention the first time. Like, I need genuine collaboration, we are doing this for the benefit of others. Like, I need that energy specifically. And I do believe that there is a place out there for me where it happens. And I know that not every school is the same. Definitely not. I know that you can possibly encounter the same problems at every school, but at the end of the day, every school has its differences too. So I went from a school that was so inherently racist that it was just like, oh my gosh, it was bad. I went from an incredibly racist school to a school where racism is very much so prominent, but now the big I guess the thing that kind of overshadows the racism more is the entitlement. So every school has its problems and every school has its things. Every school has specific groups of people, but they all just show up different. They all show up on different levels of extremity. So you don't know how intense the mean teacher is at one school compared to the next. You don't know how like giving or kind the fun teacher is compared to the previous school. You don't know. You just simply know that you're going to encounter the same things. And I'm fully aware and accepting of the fact that I'll encounter the same things wherever I end up next. But I know that as I get my master's in library science and continue to learn about what it means to be a librarian and the skills that you need to have, the values that you need to have. Oh my goodness. The first thing I learned about was the ALA's like core values and code of ethics. And that should have opened my eyes. And it definitely opened my eyes a little bit. Like I said, this has been like an ongoing thing for a year, as you've heard about on the podcast. But reading those and just reading about like, you know, the value and ensuring like equity and equitable access, protection of intellectual freedom, eliminating bias. Like I literally sat there and I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So there's so much to it. And as I go through the course and the degree, I'm happy to like keep learning and I want to keep growing in who I am so that way I can become a great leader. This is going to sound insane and so nerdy, but a great librarian. And for me to do that, I cannot be controlled. And once I get to a point of, you know, hopefully a higher and better position, I will not control whoever is in my library. Now, if you're a student, I'm going to be like, hey, don't sit on my furniture. But if you are another adult who has the word assistant in your title, I'm not going to treat you like an assistant, especially not my personal assistant. Absolutely not. I'm going to treat you like a human. I'm going to treat you like someone that I want to give and share responsibilities with, not give, because I don't have the power to give that to anybody, but I want to share responsibilities with you. And I truly want us to work together for the benefit of everyone. No bias present. Everyone. I try to even help the people that don't like me. Like, I am really dead set on just making sure that everyone's good. You know, it feels so good to just say it all. It does. It feels really, really good. So thank you. Wow. I am uncontrollable. That is just like so nice to hear. Say, maybe that's going to be a sticker I'm going to sell. My shop is coming this summer. Fun fact. Oh my goodness. There's actually, wait, because I haven't talked in a while about this. So I'm going to be super brief. There's a lot happening and coming. My newsletters are still the 15th of every month. I actually should probably start on this week's newsletter because I'll be driving back on the 15th and I got to take my weave out. But newsletters are the 15th of every month. I started a 75-day challenge, my own, called 75 Renewed, that comes with its own daily tracker. It's super, super fun. And I have been working on this for a while. I've been keeping a little bit of a secret. Definitely have to finish writing some bits and pieces to it. But I started, and I really want to introduce it this year in 2026, a digital magazine called... I already messed it up, and you know, it's very telling of what it is. The magazine is called Chronicles of Chaos. So once upon a time, my newsletter was Chronicles of Chaos, but I decided to kind of like change the vibe of my newsletter, and Chronicles of Chaos just feels so magazine-esque. So it is a seasonal magazine. It comes out the first day of every season. So the first day of spring is when the first edition drops, and I'm so excited about it. That's going to be next week, which is absolutely insane to think about, but I'm so excited. And then in the summer, my shop will finally be up, available, running, and live. And I'm so excited. The only reason I say in the summer is I can't decide if I want to start it like before my birthday or after. So we shall see. I'll keep you updated. But there's a lot of fun things that I've been working on now that I have the time to do it. And it's just been super fun and exciting. Okay. Speaking of fun and exciting, actually, let's get into some things that I've been currently consuming. Okay, first off, I do have to talk about it. I do have to talk about it. Bridgerton season 4. Yeah. Yeah. It was amazing. Oh, even Clover just got excited in the living room. She was like, "Wait, you talking about my show? You talking about my show? I'm talking about your show, Clover. I am. I am talking about your show." So amazing. I loved it. I will say my friend watched it with me and we had such a vibe. It was so much fun. I couldn't even explain why two girls in their mid 20s were laughing so hard at Bridgerton, but it was such a good time. However, we do agree with the fact that they spent a lot of time on like Francesca grieving and John dying. And like I understand why that was necessary. It very much so aligns with the books, but like it just got to a point where it was like, okay, whose story are we watching? You know what I mean? So besides that, loved it, ate it up. Next week is our spring break. I fully intend on sitting down one day during spring break and like binging season 4 again because I absolutely loved it. I just also fully intend on skipping the parts where Francesca is grieving super hard because, babe, it ain't your season. I'm sorry. I know it's rude. And I know it needed to happen to set up her season. But what is confusing and mildly annoying to me is that everyone is saying Eloise's season is next. And I'm like, there's no way. Because if Eloise's season is next, then why did they decide to do all of this with Francesca right now? Like, if Eloise is next, I'm going to be pissed off. I'm not going to lie. Next thing, I'm still consuming it. I'm currently reading Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, and I am so in love with it. And as a child of divorced parents and then divorced again parents, and then, well, I can't say it and then divorced again, but like I multiple divorces. I've seen so many. I have seen so many. And, you know, not to turn this into a therapy session, but I definitely think that fear of divorce is part of why I'm like, you know, I'm single and I would love a wedding, but I'm also like okay with being single. Like, we're just, again, peace protecting, lots of joy, comfortable with ourselves, vibing, okay? However, Before I Let Go has helped me somehow, and I really need to sit down and unpack this with my journal, but it's like really helped me in the healing process of being the child of like divorce consistently. It's really helped. And I know that it's definitely a second chance romance between a couple who's divorced. So I'm assuming that they fall back in love. I'm like only 4 or 5 chapters in. But to be 4 or 5 chapters in and loving the story and loving hopefully where Yasmin is going and hopefully her character development, I just having a really good time. All right, last thing that I've been currently consuming, and this happened last year with last year's Super Bowl performance. I just kept listening to TV Off by Kendrick Lamar. This year, I mean, Bad Bunny killed it at the Super Bowl. Like I said, I recorded the same episode so many times, and I kept talking about how much I loved Bad Bunny's performance. However, I just feel like we're so far past it that I can't give it the same praise. However, I have been like listening to his discography, and I love it. I don't know most of the words, but I am proud for some of the words that I can't pick up and some of the sentences that I pick up. I'm like, wait, hold on, Spanish too? Hold on, best friend's mom's talking to Spanish around me? I know what's happening. So I absolutely like it, his music is just a really really good vibe and it brings me so much joy sometimes when I really like need that, you know, just kind of that little reminder that life is exciting. It's just get up, dance, like it's worth, you know, whatever trial or situation you're going through, that there's like a brighter side ahead or there's something better on the other side. Like Bad Bunny's music, again, don't know what's being said, but the vibe is just so awesome. So I've been absolutely loving Bad Bunny's discography. Okay, I feel like I beat the sun. And on as anyone else who's American, I don't know if other countries do it anymore, but like, is anyone else fighting for their life because we moved forward an hour, or is it just me? Because I feel like I'm fighting for my life, for my like everything. I'm fighting for everything with this hour change. Last year, I was totally okay. For some reason, this year is just really knocking me down. I don't know why, but I am grateful that we get the sun a little bit longer in the evenings because it's just now setting and it's barely 7 o'clock. Like, we made it, guys. We freaking made it. However, I think to help me out just a little bit more with this struggle bus that I'm on when it comes to losing an hour, I might have to go to bed early tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and get me and Clover some dinner and go to sleep. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Simply Jamilah podcast. I will be in your ear hopefully next week with a new one. I'll talk to you super, super soon. I love you. I thank you. And all the things. Bye.